Yeah, so it's, we've waited for 10 minutes, so I think we can start. Others can join us whenever they come in. So last week we looked at IAS in case study. So we looked at IFRS 9. We also looked at IS2. So we looked at some questions uh, uh, that some of the standards were tested. And I told you that it is not impossible that any standard can be tested at this level. So what you need to do or what you need to know is you need to have the basic knowledge such that if questions are asked, you apply your knowledge and attempt the question as appropriate. So we attempted the May 2022 diet that talked about IS2, that is inventories. So we also looked at November 2022 that talked about financial instruments. Yeah. So today, I want us to continue by looking at IFRS S1 and IFRS S2. Those standards were issued last year, like I told you, the other class. The standards, those two standards were issued last year, and they may be tested. Yeah, because they were issued in June, actually, June 2023. Yeah, I shared an article with you, which I want to believe you read, and in the course of the lecture, I'll be asking you some questions, what you think based on what you read, and then your own knowledge of IFRS S1 and IFRS S2. But just to summarize, companies focus more on reporting profitability, but the business environment is not just the business entity itself. It doesn't operate in a vacuum. It operates where uh, it operates in an environment. So in the course of carrying out its business activities, the organization is impacting the environment. So if the focus is just on profitability, it means that other factors are not taken into consideration. Other people that also contribute to the growth of this business are not considered. So for fairness, the business has to consider the impact that it has on the environment. So if the organization met the environment in a certain way, after production, if for manufacturing companies, for instance, what is the state of that environment after production or after the manufacturing process? Will the environment be left better off or worse off? So that gave rise to some questions that organizations should not just focus on profitability again, but they should operate sustainably. So operating sustainably here means the organization should uh, leave the environment in a better way than it met it. So an entity can operate sustainably by complying with relevant sustainability laws. And then, of course, the organization can have a sustainability reporting officer, an officer that is in charge of sustainability. Or an organization can also train their staff on how to carry out certain activities like production. If they produce and there is waste that can be recycled, They should be able to recycle products that will reduce the negative impact on the environment. So the the International Financial Reporting Standards, the International Sustainability Standard Board actually issued these two standards uh, in June 2023. Now, we have two of them. The first one is IFRS S1, the one that talks about general requirements for disclosure of sustainability related financial information. And then the second one talks about climate related disclosures. So that second one is focuses more on climate related disclosures. So IFRS 1 actually it requires companies to show or to communicate the sustainability risk and the opportunities that the organization tends to face over the short, medium, and long term. That is, IFRS 1 is saying that if the organization is operating, what are the risks, what are the opportunities that this organization will face in the next 6 months, in the next 10 months, the next 12 months, or in the next 2 years, the next 5 years. That's, we are looking at it both in the short term, medium term, and long term. So this standard is designed to ensure that the organization provides investors with this information, the opportunities and the risk that this company will face within the short, medium, and long term to enable them to make decisions. Decisions that has to do with issues of sustainability. Are we together? Can you all hear me? Let me just be sure that you are here.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So what I'm saying is that an organization can operate sustainably if they carry out certain activities or if they put in place certain measures. I started by saying that before now, companies used to focus more on profitability. They report on how profitable they were during the year or during a particular period. But now the emphasis is not just on financial alone, but also other factors are considered. What is the impact on the business environment where this organization is operating? Yeah, sorry about that. So, like I was saying, the emphasis has shifted from profitability to an all-inclusive report that talks about how sustainable the organization is, and then other things also come in addition to profitability reporting. So we are also reporting how profitable the organization is, and then at the same time, you're also reporting how sustainable this same organization is. Of course, there are other reports that may be part of the annual report, just like a corporate social responsibility report or environmental reports, corporate governance reports, risk management reports, and all that. For our emphasis, we are talking about sustainability reporting. And I am saying that these reports will show how an entity's activities impact the environment and the actions that the entity is taking to address these issues, the impact on the environment, and what is the organization doing to tackle these issues. For instance, IFRS S1 is saying, what are the risks and what are the opportunities? The risks and the opportunities that the organization will face over the short, medium, and long term. So if the organization is able to point out these risks and opportunities, they will be able to inform the investors better. The investors will be better informed to make sound decisions. And then IFRS S2 is focused more on climate related disclosures. So this one is talking more about the climate. So this one is the one that looks at activities that impact the ozone layer, depletion of ozone layer and all that. So like I said, the standard was issued last year, June, and effective date was in this year, January 2024. So it may be tested, and that's why I sent this article to you so that you read, understand, and then we'll discuss better today. So I want to ask, how many of you read this article? And what did you get from this article on sustainability reporting? Because sustainability reporting is not a joke. It's an area that even before the standard was brought in, they used to test other issues in the annual report in your corporate reporting exam, even if it's not case study. They used to test it. So sustainability is not a topic that or an area you should ignore. No, you shouldn't ignore at all. Yeah, so I'm listening. What do you think? Hello, is anybody there? Is it because of the holiday that we don't have people in class today? We just have three students, and the three students are not responding. Prosper, Zainab, Maya, what's going on? Can you say something?
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Yes, sir.
so, did you read this article?
Yes.
Okay, so what did you get from it?
That the reports of the companies should include the sustainability reports and especially the IFRS 2, the climatic effects,
Yeah,
yeah, of
the
host,
climatic
yeah,
effects of the company's activities.
com yes, of the host environment.
Exactly, exactly.
Um,
So
um,
it's possible that, thank you very much, Zainab. So it's
yeah,
possible that you'll be given a scenario in your case study. So with this knowledge, you know that IFRS 2 is talking about the impact of the organization's activities on the climate. So you may be given a case of a manufacturing company, and a scenario may be painted, and then you will be asked in your exam to evaluate or to show if this organization is operating sustainably. This manufacturing company is operating sustainably. And I'm saying that one of the ways, if one of the ways, let me give you, okay, I think you can take down this. You have your note there, you can take this down. I just want to highlight how an organization can operate sustainably. How an organization or how an entity can operate sustainably. Let me know if you are ready. Because
Yes, sir.
if you are being if you are tested and they tell you how the organization usually complies with relevant sustainability laws, how the organization has in place a sustainability reporting officer, how the organization recycles its products after production, they don't just dispose waste anyhow, how the organization trains and develops their staff, how they engage stakeholders on all issues, and then how they use friendly products, how they improve on previous sustainability efforts. Like they have a monitoring unit that monitors the impact of the activities on the environment, and then they review from time to time so as to improve. You know, these are some of the ways an organization can operate sustainably. So if they are showing in that case, or if the case is highlighting that the organization doesn't have some of these things in place, that's a red flag for you to know that this organization is not operating sustainably. So the shareholders or the entity is more concerned about the profit they make, irrespective of the impact that the operations of the company has on the environment. So that will be that may be that may be a possible line or an area where they can test. Of course, they can. There are so many ways it may be tested, but I just want to highlight some of the ways an organization can operate sustainably, so that you know, and in case you see something like that, you should be able to, you know, apply your knowledge and answer the question. So you can write how an entity can operate sustainably. The first point is an organization should ensure that they comply with relevant sustainability laws and regulations. They should comply with relevant sustainability laws and regulations. Continue.
Yes, sir.
The second point is that they should have a sustainability reporting officer. They should have a sustainability reporting officer that focus or that focuses on sustainability related activities. Sustainability report related activities. The third point, if I'm too fast, let me know. The third point is they should adopt recycling of disposable products. They should recycle their products.
Sir, please, can you repeat?
The third point, they should
Yes, sir.
adopt recycling of disposable products. They should adopt recycling of disposable products. The next point is they should train and develop their staff on sustainability issues. They should train and develop their staff on sustainability issues. Next point, they should engage stakeholders. Engage stakeholders. Stakeholders say means shareholders, the immediate environment, maybe the community members, and those concerned on sustainability issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they should also ensure that they produce or they use environmental friendly products, products that are environment friendly.
Okay.
Okay, so they should also ensure that they comply or they improve on their previous sustainability efforts. That is, they should put in place monitoring and evaluation mechanisms that review their sustainability activities.
Yeah, sir.
Yes, so I have a case here. They didn't ask they didn't ask about sustainability in this case, but they gave an instance that will help you to understand better what we are discussing. Let me share that on the group. So it's November 2023. Yeah, of course, we are going to solve, that reminds me, we are going to solve in our next class, we are going to solve, we're going to look at the investment appraiser in case study. And we are going to solve that particular case. You've done ratio analysis with the other lecturers, right?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, so I'm going to take investment analysis next week. So uh, we're going to look at November 2023. But that same case, they gave some points that has to do with sustainability that I want to draw your attention to, even though they didn't ask questions about sustainability directly in that case. But they gave instances where the organization, the things that organization put in place, to ensure that they operate sustainably. So give me a minute, let me share that with you. Do you have it? I've sent it. Check. You should have it.
So I said it's November 2019.
No, 2023.
Okay, sir.
I just sent it to the group. This your group. November 2023. Go to page 160. I want to show you what we are talking about. This company was set not just for profitability alone, but they have other factors that they consider. Hello, are you there? Please
Sorry,
let
sir.
me
What
know.
page?
Page 160. Go to page 160. Please let me know if you are there. Let me know if you are there so that we'll continue. We have another area I want us to cover after this
Yes,
sustainable
sir.
standards. Okay.
I don't know
Yes.
if Zainab is.
Sorry.
I don't know if Zainab is still looking for it. Maybe if you can
Hello.
wait for
Hello.
her.
Hello, Zainab. Are you there? Okay. Let me read. So I want to start from Exhibit 4. So that's one page 158. I want to start from the beginning so that you understand better. I don't
I
just
said
want to start.
screen.
Sorry.
Is it possible for you to share your screen?
Okay, let me check that. Oh, screen sharing has been disabled. Let me reach out to Mr. Wasil so I can share my screen. Can you see my screen now?
It's
Yes, sir.
still sharing, sir. Okay, we can see it now.
Okay, you can see Adalat, right? Adalat Products Nigeria Limited.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's the name of the company, Adalat Products Nigeria Limited. So this is Exhibit 4. So let me read. A strategic focus. We are set to offer tomorrow's products and services today. We play a pivotal role in agricultural value chain, sourcing raw materials and transforming them to deliver food, feeds, and fiber to the world. So if you start from the beginning of this case, this company is an agricultural company. They sell seeds, seedlings, and all that. So it's an agro business, agro-allied business. So consumer preferences for foods and ingredients are rapidly evolving with greater emphasis on health and nutritional value, clean labeling, authenticity, supply chain visibility, and sustainability. These preferences are driving a rethink towards products that are right for me, right for the planet, and right for producers. Underline these three: right for me, right for the planet, and right for producers. We refreshed our strategy. Now, they are telling us that the strategic focus of this company is that they are producing products that are not just going to be profitable to the organization, but they are going to be products that are right for the planet. That's, in essence, the products are not going to have a negative impact on the planet. Even if they carry out their production, they will leave the environment in a better state, or if possible, in the same state that they met it. So we refreshed our strategy to meet this changing consumer landscape as we continue to invest in our capabilities and capitalize on the key emerging trends of health and wellness, traceability, and sustainability. We are focused on furthering our leadership in our chosen businesses and creating greater value for our shareholders, customers, suppliers, employees, and partners. Our capabilities and how we are differentiated. Our strategy is to deploy the following: differentiated value-added solutions and services based on key industry trends, network of millions of farmers, leaders in sustainability with the ability to drive from source, proof of concept digital pilots now scaling up competitiveness, best global talents, cross-cutting programs to develop excellence and share learnings, strong shareholder base, uniquely shaped portfolio, unique Africa footprint, focus on strengths, and capitalize on new opportunities. Their objective is to maximize long-term intrinsic value for continuing shareholders, while their vision is to be the most differentiated and valuable global food and agri-business by 2030. Their purpose is to reimagine global agriculture and food systems, transitioning to position us well to meet evolving consumer preferences in the next 10 years to hone our winning business model. And their goal is that by 2030, they will be a global food and agribusiness that delivers food, feeds, and fiber along with innovative solutions to support our customers' growing need for sustainable and transparent supply chains. Let me jump to their slogan. They have three slogans that drive their business strategy. Right for me. Right for me means products that are healthy, products that are premium. Are you there? I hope you are following closely. Please follow closely.
Yes, sir.
I'm trying to show you how an organization can operate sustainably. And this is a case that was given last year, November 2023. You can see the strategy of this company. You can see the measures that they've put in place, right? The measures that they have put in place and the things that are valuable to them. So they have a strategy that spans across three lines. The first is products that are right for me. That's, in essence, they are saying the products are healthy, the products are customized, the products are premium, the products are authentic, and then they come from natural ingredients. I don't know if you're understanding this.
Yes, sir.
Then the second point is that products that are right for the planet. Products that are right for the planet. That's products that consider environmental concerns, products that consider social equity, assurance, supply chain provenance and traceability, and direct link to the producer. And then the last one is how I live and consume. So that talks about out-of-home snacking, mobile connectivity, and social media influence. The market focus. So they have a strong business platform that leads a strong business platform that attracts market segments, including global food ingredients, global agribusinesses, African food, and Africa infra and logistics. I want to jump to, so I want to point out the things that are related to this sustainability reporting. That's why I'm jumping from one paragraph to the other because of time. So, but where I highlighted the slogan, yeah, where they are talking about products that are right for me, products that are right for the planet, products that consider how I live and consume. It means they are operating sustainably. And then their sustainability strategies, practices, and reporting. Our sustainability mission is to leave the world a better place than we met it. Therefore, we are reinventing global agriculture through our operational ability to make material impact on improving farmers' livelihoods, increasing community well-being, and regenerating our living world. We recognize that we succeed or fail together, which is why we have set ourselves an ambitious goal and why sustainability is a key enabler of our strategic plan. It is our way of doing business, and it is what we expect from our business partners. So this statement says it all, that this organization considers sustainability in their operations. This statement says it all. They consider sustainability in their operations. Then our goals and milestones are signposts along a continuous journey that is intended to strengthen our company as it strengthens the people we meet and the communities and environment in which we operate. Our revolutionary sustainability insights platform for agricultural supply chains at source, provide customers with a single view across their supply chain sustainability parameters, as well as insights into how to influence these elements for the better. The end-to-end metrics, action plans, and corresponding narratives can be used by customers to meet sustainability requirements. Also build brand trust and confidence, report on sustainability initiatives, and transform supply chains. So in summary, we are saying that if a company operates sustainably, it is going to leave the environment in a better state than it met it. I gave you some of the parameters or some of the indices that you can rely on to check if the organization is operating sustainably. So like this company, for instance, Adala Products Nigeria Limited, they have a strategic plan on sustainability. They have a plan and they have their sustainability practices. They have a mission to leave the world a better place than they met it. So if an organization has in place a mission to leave the world a better place than it met it, it means they are going to carry out activities. They are going to put in place activities that will ensure that that mission is accomplished. So the impacts of the activities on the business environment will be checked. Remember, I told you that one of the parameters or one of the things to show that an organization is operating sustainably is that they do checks. They have monitoring and evaluation units, or they review their sustainability practices. They have a sustainability reporting officer, and then they comply with relevant sustainability laws. They train their staff on sustainability issues. They engage stakeholders, and they make sure that they use friendly products as well as recycling. They recycle products that seem to be waste. So with this knowledge, if you are presented with a case, like the case of Adalat 2023, even if you are not asked to comment on the sustainability activities of this company, under your 8 basic skills, you know about the 8 basic skills, right? In report writing. I can case study report writing. I'm talking about use of data and information, professional tools and knowledge. Yeah, do you remember now? Hello? Zainab?
Yes, sir. Sorry.
Yeah, it's fine. Do you know about the 8 basic skills?
I I joined the class late, so they must have done it.
Oh, you joined late. Wow.
Yeah.
So when you are writing your report, there are 8 basic skills that you will use to write your report, whether it's an internal report or external. So you are going to write your report using these 8 skills, which include use of data and information, professional tools and knowledge, professional skepticism and ethics, analytical skills, evaluative skill and judgment. So these are the things you need them. If you have not done it, it means you need to You need to go back and do it, because that is what is going to form the that is what is going to form your report. Yeah, let me just say it, because each of these keys attracts 4 marks. So your requirement 1, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Your requirement 1 is 32 marks. Your requirement 2 is also 32 marks. That is 64 marks. Your executive summary is 20 marks, right? That is 84 marks. Then recommendations, conclusion, appendix, all those other ones will take the other marks. But what am I saying? I'm saying that these 8 basis keys, they form your report, because it is what you write as your requirement 1 and requirement 2 that will form part of your executive summary. Without requirement 1 and requirement 2, what are you summarizing? You can't do any summary. So it is what you've written as your requirement 1 and requirement 2 that you will use to write your executive summary. So my point now is, for each of the 8 basis keys is 4 marks. So under requirement 1, you have 4 marks for each of the 8. That is, if you multiply by 4 by 8, that's 32 for requirement 1. For requirement 2, you are going to use the same skills, which is 4 marks again, times 8. That's a total of what? 64 marks for requirement 1 and 2. What you have for requirements 1 and 2, that's what you are going to summarize. That's what will form your executive summary. So that means if you don't do that requirement 1 and requirement 2 very well, you won't be able to do your executive summary very well. So that means that 84 marks lie within requirements 1, 2, and executive summary. So for each of these keys, you are going to make 4 relevant points. So if you make points that are relevant, you have 4 marks for each of them. Then the other ones 4 marks. Please, if you are not aware of this and you're hearing it for the first time, I beg of you to go back, because I am not taking that area. I want to believe my colleague took you on that, or he is going to take you on that. But let me know, have you done report structure where you were taught how your cover page should be like, and what should follow after cover page, and then what should follow, and then towards the end, and then appendix? Have you done something like that?
I think they've done it. I wasn't really. Yeah, I'll go through it.
Please do. You really
Yeah.
need it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the reason why I was asking about the 8 basis case is I wanted to show you where, even if you are not asked about sustainability reporting, but you have in the case information that has to do with sustainability, you can decide to add it to see if you can get some marks. So like this company, for instance, if you check the requirement did not talk about sustainability reporting at all. But the company had a strategy to operate sustainably. So that can be an area of strength for this company. Yes. So that can be, it can show, or it shows that the organization is ethical. The organization is complying with with some standards that are set, and the organization is conscious of the impact that its activities has or will have on the business environment. So you can include it to get some marks. That's what I'm saying. They mustn't ask about it before you comment on it. You can just add it up to get more marks. Do we understand what we've done so far
Yes, sir.
regarding sustainability reporting?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much. So I want us to move to analysis of the business environment. Before I move into that, I want to let you know that as far as case study is concerned, there are three major areas that you may be tested in: business analysis, financial statement analysis, financial data analysis. Let me say it again: business analysis, financial statement analysis, financial data analysis. Before now, requirement one is they've always been testing most times financial statement analysis. Financial statement analysis and financial data analysis. What is financial statement analysis? That's the part that has to do with ratios, where you are required to compute ratios, trends, and all that. If you are doing all of that, you are doing financial statement analysis. What is financial data analysis? Investment appraiser, where you are giving projects, whether it is merger and acquisition or whatever. That is financial data analysis. Now, there's another area that is rarely tested, but they may decide to test it because most students focus more on financial statement analysis and financial data analysis. So, what if May 2024, I can decide to test financial, to test business analysis? Business analysis has to do with business operations, where you have input, you have the processing, and then output. Three major things: the input variables, the processes to transform the input to output. That is all. Under this business analysis, there are so many areas that can be tested. But for now, I want us to look at how to analyze the business internally. So we are looking at analysis of the internal business environment. Analysis of the business environment. Share my screen shortly. In your CSME, you studied some models for analyzing the business environment externally. Do you remember pestle model? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you remember pestle, you remember SWOT analysis. Of
So,
course, SWOT has to do with analyzing the business internally. So I want to establish that the models you are going to use to analyze the business internally, they are not the same with the models you are going to use for external analysis, right? So that's the first thing I want you to know. So pestle is used for external analysis because it contains external factors that impact the business. But SWOT analysis, yeah, let me just ask. I know you are familiar with it, but let me ask, what do you think is the difference between SWOT and PESTEL? Hello? Okay, because of time. External analysis is done to check the factors, the external factors that affect business operations. So if you are talking about PESTEL, P represents the political environment, right? Oh, okay. I see. Okay, I got Zainab. Okay, you didn't go through skills. Okay, no problem. You'll still be fine. You'll still be fine. So let me just summarize. Our emphasis is not on external business analysis, anyways. Our emphasis for now is on internal analysis. That's why I'm going to take them. I'm going to take the models that you are going to use to analyze the business internally. Carry out your internal business analysis. So the first one that you can use, which I believe you should be familiar with, is the SWOT model. The SWOT majorly is looking at the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and the threats. So basically, you are looking at three major things here. To identify the strengths and weaknesses, if you have a case and they've given you a scenario about the business environment, and they're talking about the resources that the entity has, the competencies, and the capabilities. So the resources represents all the things, all the resources that the entity has. Let's say manpower, skilled manpower, then the competencies. In terms of competencies, you are looking at what and what do we have in place that our competitors don't have. Whatever you have as a business that your competitor does not have becomes your strength. On the other hand, whatever you don't have and your competitor has, it's your weakness. But I'm building this on three major things. I said the first thing you should look out for, the resources that the entity has, then the competencies and the capabilities. In terms of financial capability, sometimes you may have the technical know-how, but they may not be the resources may not be there to implement a particular task. So that means you financially you are weak, but in terms of the expertise, you have it. But the financial capability is not there. So the entity may suffer. That means that the competitor will have an edge over the business entity. So if you are asked to analyze the business internally, you can look at the SWOT model. If they are talking about the entity's resources, the entity's capabilities, or the entity's competencies, they are referring to SWOT. They ask you what you will need to do that analysis will be SWOT model. Another model you can use, to carry out internal business analysis is the Porter's value chain. Prosper, have you heard of value chain model before?
No, sir.
Wow. Zainab, how about you? Okay, so I think I'll share my screen. Give me a minute. Let me share my screen.
Sorry, I didn't know I was muted.
No worries. I would advise that after this class, get revised models for analyzing the business environment. You can get the CSME pack, yes,
Okay.
because if they test this area, not, I know that most students, they don't pay attention to this business analysis. They focus more on ratio, they focus more on investment appraiser and all that. So they may decide to test business analysis. So revise models for analyzing the business. Revise both internal models that can be used to analyze the internal environment, and then external measures. Revise the two so that you have an understanding of how it is done or how it works, because
So
it
please
is,
mention it again. Models to analyze business environment.
yes, models for analyzing business environment, internal models, that is SWOT,
The, se-
SWOT.
the second one, sir.
The second model is value chain, Porter's value chain. Porter's value chain, that's the value chain model.
Okay.
The third one for internal business analysis is the customer relationship management. Customer relationship management. So these areas are not difficult. Just that if you don't know it, you don't know it. You may not be able to put something down, even though it's very easy. The next one is benchmarking. Benchmarking. So I'm going to start with, yeah, I've discussed SWOT already. So I'll continue with Porter's value chain. So I want it to be a discussion. That's why I'm reluctant. I don't want to share my screen again, so that I want you to understand the concept, understand how you will be able to apply your knowledge to solve questions, because it's something that you can go and read on your own, but I want you to have the understanding, not just me reading from the material. No, I want you to understand how it works. And I'm saying that when you have a question, And the requirement is for you to analyze the business environment. The question will state whether you are doing internal analysis or external analysis, or it may not be stated. But depending on the information you have, if the question is speaking to the resources, I mentioned 3 things. I said the first thing, for you to know that it is SWOT analysis that you're going to use, is that the question will talk about the resources, the capabilities, and the competencies. You can write it down. The resources, the capabilities, and the competencies. I went further to say that if the question states that the organization lacks certain competencies, while the competitor has those competencies, that becomes a weakness to the organization. If, on the other hand, the organization has some competencies that the competitor doesn't have, that becomes a strength. Similarly, if the organization has resources and the capabilities to make use of those resources, and the competitor doesn't have this, or doesn't have them, it is also a strength. Anything that the company has that the competitor doesn't have, it's a strength to that business. Technically, it's a strength. So if, on the other hand, the competitor has some resources and some capabilities that the company does not have, it's a weakness. It's a weakness. And then opportunities. Opportunities will be usually the options available. The opportunities may usually come from external factors. So the opportunities represent the options available or the chances available to the entity to explore. While the threats may be factors that hinder or may slow the organization down in trying to achieve its objectives. So however it is structured, check out or look out for the resources available, look out for the capabilities, look out for the competencies and the opportunities and threats. Once you see all of these in favor of the organization, that becomes that's strength for them. Once they don't have these competencies, resources, and capabilities, it becomes a weakness. So that will help you to analyze the business using SWOT model. Then for value chain model, what is value itself? That's the first question. What is value? And how does an organization create value? So in your exams, the value chain model can be used to make a strategic assessment of performance. Now, how are you going to answer a question that has to do with value chain model? You need to understand the model. Without understanding the model, you can't answer the question. So it is also called Porter's value chain. And the emphasis of value chain model is that what is value? That's the first thing. What is value and how does an organization create value? So before a product is produced, can you hear me? Zainab and
Yes,
Prosper, are you there?
yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Before a product is produced, there are certain processes that take place before production or before the final product is made, right? So those processes, those activities that precede or that facilitate the production of that product, those are the chain. They are interconnected. That's why we call it value chain. They are interrelated. Those activities that join hands to create value. So it's a chain of activities from buying or purchasing raw materials to storing the raw materials and getting them ready for use to the production process to the marketing process to sales. Those are the chain of activities we are talking about. It is not strange. These are practical things that you are also aware of. But you need to narrow it down to your own understanding. What are these? What is value chain? And I'm saying that the chain there represents the interrelated, those activities are interconnected. That's why it's called chain. They relate, they are related. Those interconnected activities that facilitate the creation of value. So the value there that we're talking about, it means the that is what gives the customer or the consumer satisfaction. If, for instance, you want to buy a cell phone, before that phone was produced, certain activities took place, right? You agree with me on that, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, certain things were done before the phone was produced eventually. Even when the phone was produced, did you go to the factory to buy it? No, you did not go to the factory. You went to the market. That means that after they produced, they transported the phone to the market. They carried out marketing. They made sales, which now helped you to get the phone. So the value that the phone will now create is that as you have gotten the phone, you can now use it to call someone, to browse the internet, or to watch movies or videos as the case may be. So the series of activities that took place before the phone was eventually produced and then got to you and is now of value to you, that is what we are referring to as value chain. The chains of activities that join hands to create value. Are you understanding it?
Yes, sir.
So, Porter classified these activities into 5 major activities. That is under the primary value chain. So you have the first classification is you have the primary activities and the secondary activities. So just like the names suggest, the primary activities are the most important, the ones that must be there for value to be created. Why the secondary activities are just supporting activity, they support the primary activities. Please, you need to go and look at this. I'm trying to explain so you understand, but for better understanding, you need to go and look at it. And I'm trying to be practical so that when you see it in your exam, you know what the question is talking about. So the first activity under the primary activities, I don't want to share screen. I want you to understand. So if you need to know more, go and read it. It's in your CSME study pack. Under the primary activities, you have the inbound logistics. You have operations. You have outbound logistics. You have marketing and sales. And then you have the service. So inbound logistics is talking about receiving raw materials that are purchased. So you have gone to the market, they bought raw materials, and then you are going to receive these raw materials and store them until they are needed to carry out production. That is what inbound logistics is all about. Inbound. Then outbound logistics is talking about, that one is after production. You know, when you receive the raw materials, you store them, right? The next thing that will happen will be production. That is the operations. The processes, the processing of the raw materials. Production will take place. After production, then storage. That is outbound logistics. And then marketing and sales. You are familiar with that. After the products has been produced and stored, to be taken out through delivery van, delivery vehicle, or whatever, and the product will now be marketed and sold eventually. The last item under primary activities is service. What is service in this instance? I was giving an example of how you need a phone and you go to the market to buy that phone. When you go to the market, the phone will not just jump from the shop of the seller into your pocket. You need to walk in. It's either you order online. So the process is not different, whether you are buying online or you are buying physically. Let's assume you are buying physically and you went to the store. Even if you go into the store, the phone will not just enter your pocket. You need to be attended to. Someone will attend to you. You discuss, you ask the price, they'll tell you, you make payments, the phone will now be handed over to you. That is service. That is the last point. Service. So it is when the service is rendered to you by giving the phone to you, attending to your request. You will now have the phone at your disposal. You will now be able to use the phone to browse, to make calls, watch videos, play games, or do whatever you want to do. Any of these that you are doing, it has created value to you. That is what we are talking about under the primary activities. The secondary activities, like I said, they are just supporting activities, activities that support the primary activities. And under the secondary activities, you have things like procurement. Procurement. Before I continue with secondary activities, I want to hear from you. Do you understand what I've explained? Do you have questions? Let me know before I continue.
Yes, yes, sir. But this
A question.
service,
Okay, who is going first? Maybe Zainab can go first.
Yes.
Zainab.
no, the sir, please explain the service again. The other ones are well understood, but the service, like a normal production line, don't use the phone as example. Can you use another thing as an example for better understanding?
Okay, thank you. Let me use Coca-Cola. Is that fine?
Yeah.
So Coca-Cola does their production. They have a factory, they have warehouse, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
since you understand the other processes,
Yes, sir.
now let me start from the point where the product has been stored in their warehouse. After production, the product is now in the warehouse. They've taken the products out to the retailers, right? That's through their marketing and sales
And sales,
operations.
yeah.
So now, when they take the product out for sale, they have units where these retailers come to load their trucks. I hope you are aware that they have some of them called the
Depot.
depot. Yes, they have depots that the retailers come to buy from them to come and sell to us, the final consumers, right?
Yes, sir.
So if the retailers go to the depot with the crate of mineral, will they just jump into the retailers' trucks? No, they
No.
need to be attended to. First off,
Okay.
they will state the quantity that they need, the quantity they want to buy, and a representative of Coca-Cola will issue them an invoice,
Invoice.
as the case may be. They will make payments. These goods will now be loaded in their trucks. That is service.
Okay.
That process that facilitates the goods or that item of value moving from the owner, that's the producer, to the buyer, that's the service that is going on. Do you understand
Okay.
better now?
Yes, sir. So it's just confusing with the delivery. What if the company delivers directly to the buyer? So is the delivery too part of the service provided?
The lecturer is not here.
Hello, sir.
Sorry, I was muted. I didn't know.
Okay.
Can I hear you? Can I hear you again? I think it was
Yes, sir.
Zainab's question.
Yes, sir. So I was still like the that I understand the part you just explained, but you see this marketing and sales and the service in a situation where the company supplies the consumer directly
Mm,
or the like they transport the goods,
yes.
deliver it to the buyer
Mm-hmm.
directly. Where does
Mm.
the service comes in? Could it be customer service care that will be the service or the delivery?
Both.
Okay.
So in the course of the customer placing his or her order, someone is attending to him or her, right?
Yes.
So if for instance it's even on, let's say it's even online, that you place the call,
Okay.
you place the calls, there's someone at the other end that is going to answer you.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So the person is attending to you, is rendering a service.
Okay.
Do you get it?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Prosper, you're welcome. Prosper, your question.
So my question is on the outbound logistics. I
Okay.
didn't really get the explanation.
Okay. Outbound logistics. Okay. So I said that during the after procurement, after the raw materials have been purchased, they are taken to the storage room. Now, after storage, when the raw materials are needed, they are now taken to the factory to carry out production. And I'm saying that after production, the products are taken to the warehouse for storage, right? So after the products are stored, that's before sale, so they are delivered to the customers. Now, any activity that happens after production, please pay close attention. The activity that happens after the products have been produced, from the point where the products are now taken to the warehouse to the point where the products are put in the delivery van for marketing. You know that delivery and marketing are not the same.
Yes, sir.
So the point I'm making is urban logistics covers the point where the product has been manufactured and kept in the store. That's after production. Anything before production is not outbound logistics. So after production, the products are kept in the warehouse. That is the storage. Then the products are now distributed. Remember that marketing is about informing the customers about the availability of the product. Marketing and distribution are not exactly the same. Marketing means that you are creating awareness. You are creating awareness that this product exists. You are informing customers that there is a product here, come and buy. But delivery has to do with delivery may not necessarily be to a customer. It may be to maybe their depot. So the main factory may be, let's say, in Ikeja, just an example. After production, they have a warehouse in Surulere. I just want to show different locations so that you know that the process of outbound logistics starts after production. So if the factory is located in Ikeja, that's the main factory location. It's located in Ikeja. After that, after production, they have to come to move the goods to their warehouse that is in Surulere. That is their warehouse. But their depot, where customers come to buy, is not in Surulere. Let's say the depot is in Lekki. Now, the movement that happened after production from Ikeja to Surulere down to Lekki, that is outbound logistics. The marketing is when the product gets to the depot, the banner, the flyer, the things they are doing to create awareness that we have these drinks here. That is marketing. Then after marketing, eventual sales. As the customers are coming, you are attending to them, answering their making responses, giving responses, and answering their requests. That is service. So for emphasis, outbound logistics starts after production, down when you've stored the product, down to the delivery to the different units that they will be sold eventually to the final consumers. Is it better?
Yes, I see. Thank you, sir.
Okay. All right. Do we have another question?
Like, come on.
Okay. I can continue, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, as we have discussed, where you have activities that span across these things that I've mentioned, that is business operations. And particularly for value chain, you have primary activities and secondary activities. Yeah, so for the primary activities, you have inbound logistics, outbound logistics, operations, marketing and sales and service. And then you have secondary activities that has to do with procurement, that has to do with human resource management, that has to do with technology. You agree with me that these other activities that are also important, but you also agree that they only support the primary activities, because there are some companies that may not necessarily have a procurement department, but anybody can go and buy. Human resource management, they may not necessarily be paying attention to it, but production will still go on. But for the other activities that we mentioned earlier, they must be in place, they must be done before value can be added or value can be created. So that is for Porter's value chain. Once again, go and look at it in details. You understand better. To understand better, go and look at it in details. So let me recap all that we've discussed. We started with corporate social responsibility, sustainability reporting. Started with
Where's the Anobi?
IFRS 1 and IFRS S2. And I told you that companies have shifted their focus from just financials to profitability, from just profitability to an all-inclusive reporting, all-inclusive, considering both financials and other factors that affect the business. So the sustainability standards were issued in June last year by International Sustainability Standard Board. And the first one talks about the general requirements for sustainable reporting or sustainability related risks and opportunities. And I told you that it helps the organization to look at the impacts or the risk and opportunities that are available to the entity within the short period, medium term, and long term. While the climate related disclosure has to do with the climate related risks and opportunities, and it requires entities to disclose how the climate change and its actions, that's the activities that the organization is carrying out, will affect the business environment. And we said that an organization or an entity can operate sustainably when that entity complies with relevant laws and regulations, that is relevant sustainability laws and regulations. And also when that entity has a sustainability reporting officer, or the entity carries out training and development on sustainability issues for its staff members. Another way that an entity can operate sustainably is when they engage stakeholders on the entity's concerns on sustainability issues. In the same vein, an organization can operate sustainably when they produce or when they use environments or risk-free products, products that are risk-free in terms of the impact on the environment is not so much or is minimal. An organization can also operate sustainably if they dispose, they recycle products that may be waste but can be recycled. They can decide to recycle such products for use. We then moved to models for internal business analysis. And I told you that if you have a case study exam, there are 3 areas that you may be tested in. You may be tested about the business operations, or you may be tested about financial data analysis or financial statement analysis. Business analysis, financial data analysis, or financial statement analysis. And I said financial statement analysis has to do with trends, ratios that you are so familiar with. And then financial data has to do with investment appraisal. But business analysis has to do with business operations and it's not always tested. And I went further to say you should pay close attention to business analysis as well, and not just the other two, because it can also be tested. So we then looked at the models that we can use to analyze the business environment, the internal business environment. And we discussed about SWOT analysis. And I emphasized that when a question is talking about resources, competencies, and capabilities that are available to the entity, that becomes their strength. That becomes strength to that entity. This is only a strength if the competitor does not have these capabilities, resources, and competencies. But if, on the other hand, the competitor has competencies, capabilities, and the resources that the entity does not have, that becomes what? That becomes weakness to the entity. We then looked at Porter's value chain. So we looked at value chain model, And I said an entity creates value through a chain of activities. And how does this happen? There are certain activities that take place before a product is produced. And Rota classified these activities into 5 categories as primary activities, which includes inbound logistics that has to do with getting the raw materials to the storehouse, and then the operations, which has to do with the production process, the outbound logistics, which has to do with getting the product after production to the warehouse, and then delivering it to the different units where marketing and sales will take place. And of course, service is the point where the final consumer gets value for the product. Then there are other activities that support these primary activities, which Porter calls secondary activities. There are activities like procurement, human resource management, technology, and all that. So, once again, go and look at them very well, because I'm not coming back to internal analysis again. I believe that all that we've discussed will help you to attempt any question that has to do with business analysis and IFRS in case study. So when we meet next week, we are going to look at investment appraisal. We'll solve a question. Okay, you want to say something?
You wanted to share the material with us initially. I don't know if that's possible.
Okay. I'll shorten it. I think it's long. I don't want to send something that is bulky. So
Okay.
I'll just shorten it and share for the value chain particularly, because it looks like it's new to you. So if you look at the key points, yes, that should be okay. So I will make it shorter and then send it across.
Thank you.
Meanwhile, you also do your research and check CSME pack, study pack, and look at how the business is analyzed using internal measures.
All right, sir.
So next week we will look at investment appraiser. Hopefully we'll solve a question. We'll solve November 2023. Requirement 2 of that diet was investment appraiser, where the candidates were asked to evaluate a project that had 2 phases, phase 1 and phase 2. So we are going to look at all that. So while you read about internal business analysis, also go through your project appraiser principles, your NPV principles, inflation, when will inflation start, working capital principles, real cost of capital, nominal cost of capital, real cash flow, money cash flow. Look at all of that. Look at the relevant costs that are relevant to investment appraisal, costs that are not relevant, sunk costs. Look at incremental fixed costs, that's relevant costs. Look at fixed costs. Look at all the costs that will be relevant for investment appraiser, and all the costs that will not be relevant for investment appraiser, because if you have investment appraiser, you are going to apply these principles In fact, the knowledge of relevant costing is important, especially when the examiner decides to twist NPV questions. If you have good background, how working capital should be treated, the types of working capital, one-off working capital, incremental working capital, inflation, when will inflation start? Is it stated in current value terms? Is it stated in year one terms? If you have capital allowance, how will you do it? All those things, you need to remember them. So we are going to solve that question next week by God's grace. So if you have any question, let me know, and I'll be happy to answer. It's just too bad that I just have two people that have been active, and yeah, it's not bad anyways, because they have been very active and the class has been interactive. I hope that next week I'll have more students here so that we'll discuss. I want to believe it's the holiday that made some people to forget their class, to forget that they also have a class today. Meanwhile, we've done something today, and hopefully next week we'll get closer to the end of our class.
Thank
So
you,
if
sir.
you have any question, let me know. Thank you, Zainab.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, Prosper. Thank you for staying on the call. Thank you for being here. See
Sir, please
you.
don't forget to send the material.
Yes, I'll send it before the end of the holiday. I'll do that before Monday. Or on Monday or before Monday.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, and do enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.